I have an industrial repair company, and I've done with a crew of guys over 8,000 mobile repairs. We drive out, adapt to whatever is needed, and get the job done. A lot of our work has to do with stationary motors placed on cement slabs for hospitals, office buildings, and they're used as emergency backup generators as well as water pumps, big diesel motors connected to pumps to pump water up 40 stories to put out fires in the fire sprinkler system and that sort of thing. So here's an interesting story. I am one that tends to want to only do the best for my customers. But a lot of the times I am told this is how it's been done. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the best for my customer. I had one customer that had a motor that was built in Germany. It was a Deutz Marine, and none of the Deutz dealerships had any records on the motor. And the problem was this particular motor put out fires for a shelter. They were a nonprofit. They didn't have a bunch of money, and their motor went down. I ended up having to figure out a inexpensive solution. And when I say inexpensive, I mean $50,000 versus replacing the whole thing, because that's what they were told has to happen. They had to upgrade the motor, upgrade the whole fire suppression system, change the plumbing, all because this motor couldn't be repaired. Which I thought, this is craziness. It's steel, pistons, diesel fuel, everything should be the same. And I could find all these motor parts on Facebook, on German machine shops, but nobody had any records of the numbers. And I spent hours, and I called Deutz Marine, I called importers through Texas where they received a lot of the diesel motor parts, the Gulf of Mexico, that sort of thing. Nobody had any records, and I just kept calling and calling, like, this is ridiculous. And then I found what I call the Rosetta Stone of Deutz. And it turns out in 1992, they did a part number change where they changed the digits of the older part numbers to a larger new part number. And this old guy that had been in the industry for years had the book of the old numbers and the crossover. And with that, I used to call him, I'd tell him the old number, he'd give me the parts, and then I could order the parts via the new numbering system. And the code was broken. And from there, I rebuilt the motor, in-frame rebuild, and we got it running. They saved $1 million, and happy ending. So, when somebody tells you this is how it is, sometimes you just gotta question them, and this is why.